So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the second session of this month's webinar series, where we are discussing about uh, conscious creation. Yeah, and last time when we spoke about, uh, basic understanding of conscious creation that we have, Priya and I have, we saw that how at times, there are certain unconscious things which are you know controlling our choices, our actions, and if we become more conscious about them, then that lifelong journey of making unconscious conscious can bring us new context in creation. Then it's a continuous journey of evaluating our goals, our way of living, and the way we are, the way we become. From there, what we think we want changes. I'm very sure if you look back in your own journey, and 10 years back what you wanted and what you want today, it must be very different. Few things must have been, a continuation, and those might be, your core desires or core needs. Uh, but I'm very sure the expression of creation must have changed with whatever self work you have done so far. So, our understanding says that with this conscious self work of making unconscious conscious, who we are is what changes fundamentally. And in that, how we want to live our life changes, and in that, any goal can change. So, when we are talking about conscious creation, we are not just talking about having certain goals and desires and manifesting them, but how to transform the texture of our very life and the desires from where they come. This slightly connects back to the last month's topic where we spoke about inner void and how to overcome that so that we create from, you know, uh, being in alignment with our inner voice, inner guidance. So, in a way, this is a continuation of last month's topic, but now we are more focused on understanding who we are in the core, removing any blocks from our experience of that, starting to live from there, and then letting the inner voice guide us towards our wants and desires. So again, I want to highlight this thing that this is not a one day, 1 month, few months long, or a few years long process. This is one's journey. So thank you for taking this step, and uh, showing your interest into getting in touch with your core. So that is there. Now, Priya, do you want to add anything to this?
What comes to me is what we want to talk about today, saying that
Yes.
this is the premise of uh, what we started. Um, my thoughts are going around what is it today?
Right, right. Yeah. So let's start with what we want to share today. So, if we look at this conscious creation, usually our thoughts go around what we want to create in our life. Yeah. And when we say what we want to create or what we want to have, that usually goes around with different aspects in our life. And in that, we want a certain kind of reality. So, let's say I have a desire and I want to experience that desire, and then whatever I do towards achieving it. Now, when we are saying that, uh, let's understand, let's learn to create consciously, then what we have experienced in our journey is There are some goals, desires, or there are certain aspects of our life which can turn out to be what we want when we take enough effort in the right direction. And if something is still not happening, then we can work on it, make our unconscious conscious, and we will have correction in our course of action or direction, and then that will happen. I think the most difficult part for oneself is looking at the aspects which are not going to change no matter what we do. When I say that, what I mean is the external reality is not going to alter. And there are some aspects in our life we all have. And uh, if not, if not um different numbers, then at least two for sure, that we have come to live with that as it is. So there are certain things that we have planned, that I'll live through this. It will not change with the wisdom coming in, my actions changing. The external thing may not change. Or maybe it may alter a little, but it won't transform to what I wanted. Then what do we do with making our unconscious conscious about such aspects in our life? So
That,
when we
in
start
fact,
working on that and heal that, what comes is the acceptance. And the acceptance not out of resignation कि अब तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता. I don't have a choice, so I will have to accept. No, not that kind of acceptance which comes out of resignation, but the acceptance uh, with the joy that I planned it this way for a reason. So this is the perfect reality which I have planned for myself. That kind of acceptance. And when we reach that acceptance level, what we experience is peace, and that is possible. So there are different aspects in our life which will have the set experiences which we are not here to alter, but we are here to live through, so that we live through it and we learn some lesson in that. And at the end of the life, if I live that experience the way I planned it, I will master that lesson. So the first two things that we begin
um,
with. Huh.
one thing that I would like to add here is, I think it's a valid question to ask. Why should I make such a thing conscious also? You know, because once it comes into your conscious, there is an emotion, no, that will come along with it. I know I can't change it. I know I have to live through it. So why would I make something like this conscious and bring it to my understanding? The reason is that when you're conscious that you cannot change this, then you will not live in the impact of it. Earlier, you would have lived in the impact of it, not knowing or being a victim to it. Now you know, okay, now I can't change this, and I have to not make peace, but live peacefully with this. And the goal will be that. The goal will not be to alter it, because you know you're not going, you can't change it, and it is painful. The first times, or the times when that unconscious becomes conscious, that I cannot change this, I have to live through this, it will be painful. But behind that pain, as Gayatri rightly said, is either a resource or a learning which is going to enhance life in a particular way. Yeah.
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 And if I can add in different words, then when I make something which is not changeable, conscious in my experience, then my suffering ends. We all have heard this quote that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
Suffering.
So when Priya says that you will not live in the impact of it, this is the suffering. Because usually when we have tried all our ways and yet the situation is not changing, we all end up at a dead end. Why me? Why this? Why me? Why this is something which keeps us in that suffering. But with making that unconscious conscious about such aspects is what helps us to understand why me. So sometimes, there are certain puzzles, and the beauty of those puzzles is not in solving them. So they are not puzzle to be solved, but it is a in its own way beautiful life situation to live through. So that transformation happens when we make the unconscious conscious about such experiences. So what are these experiences?
One more thing, may I add over
Yeah.
here before we get into the aspects?
Hmm.
Is most times we say in the journey of healing that when something comes into consciousness, we need to do something about it. So we are taught to fix in a particular way, either fix it or change it or alter it. But here we are talking of things which will not change. So what needs to change? The external is not going to change. Only the journey is here then. And that journey can bring in a lot of peace. Yeah,
True. So we have certain aspects of our life. The first two in which we are born are our bond with our mother and our bond with our father. So the relationship with parents. What kind of experiences we have had as a child with our parents? That cannot be altered, and that is not something to be altered. So at a soul level, we chose a certain set of parents which are going to be the perfect mother and perfect father for us, to make us ready and teach us something which is going to be our core learning in this life. So somebody might choose supportive parents, somebody might choose parents who corner them a lot, and one of them may be very supportive, other one is very, you know cornering, or both of them are in a way present, in a way absent, not being there at all. Whatever it is, that particular experience is not for us to alter. So one thing we have often come across in our own sessions also, and our sessions with our clients also, that the child has gone through a pain. The child is very small to understand all of this, you know the wise thing or whatever. And when we look at the client, the adult of today, they have to get this, that it is not about the mother changing her behavior, father changing his behavior, but it is about the client themselves to get that whatever they gave was enough in its own way, and now it is my responsibility for my life. And when this happens for the person, they can stand up for all those experiences in the past. So what Priya said, that then it is an internal journey. So then I will look at my own inner child and I'll say, okay, this is my duty now, that I do this for you, so that your need is taken care of. But in the process, I am not negating what my parents have done for me. And I'm not doing with the intention of rejecting them, or the child also rejecting them. That, you know what, parents didn't do this, I'll do it for you. No, they already did what they could. Now I will do it. And that establishes a connection with the parents, where as a concept we have seen that when you are accepting of whatever your parents have given you, then a lot opens up for you. So that is something. And because we come to life through them, the first experience of survival is through our parents. We are fully dependent on them when we take this birth. And in that experience, anything related to our survival also comes under the same category. So, our experience with materialistic things, money, will also come under something called as something which may not be altered fully. So now, when we say not altered fully, now if somebody is there who is born in a poor family, so they are meant to live a poor life? No, we are not saying that. If that person's life path says that they are here to live a life of small amount of money or small amount of uh, materialistic experiences, then if that is the plan, and if they are in touch with that core understanding, they will either not have the thought of growing out of it and they will be at peace with it, or they might not have a thought of growing fully out of it, but they may feel struggle in this. So they feel nothing is enough, nothing is enough, and in that the complaints might be there or sad experiences are there. So when they work on their unconscious pain making conscious wisdom, then they will understand that this is how it is, and in this also happiness is possible, in this also a good life is possible. So their work, self work will happen on that. Now, another scenario could be that I'm born in a poor family, but I keep getting, you know, called to get out of this. And when that does not happen, I have whatever blocks I have. If I work on that, in that self work, my unconscious blocks will become conscious. I will gain my resources. Either the desire to come out of it will go away and I will become peaceful with whatever my reality is. Or if my life plan has that after my self work, after my change of direction in thoughts and actions, I can come out of it, I will get out of it to whatever degree is the plan. So, here, if you see the free choice and the life plan, we are not saying that life plan is fixated and we do not have a free choice. But what we can do in such cases is, like one question that Priya gave, why would I want to make it conscious? Another question that you can ask yourself is, what kind of feelings do I have about these things in my life? Do I feel like
Yeah.
changing it, not changing it? If I feel like changing it, do I feel it is possible, not possible? Because remember, we are God of our universe. So if I have a desire, I will also get thoughts to support that desire. And if I'm not getting, then either I have blocks in believing that I can get the resource, or maybe it is not supposed to happen. So, what is it? One of the two. That will be the framework of one's self work when it comes to this experience.
In fact, Gayatri, I have an example around this. Um, for example, if a person has, in their life plan or in their journey of life, lost one of the parents at a very young age, um, does it mean to say, for example, a person has lost their mother and a mother nurtures? Okay. Does it mean to say that that person will never be nurtured in life now? No, that experience is teaching, or maybe that person, that you can nurture yourself, or you can ask for nurturing from outside, something like that, something around nurturing, or the mother's role, which is absent in that life, and that soul has chosen that path. And initially, there'll be pain. Oh, why me? Why did my mother go away? I miss her so much. This happened, that happened. I feel so lost. I don't have direction. All that will happen. But there might be a time when the person will ask, okay, from why me? Now, what is in it for me? Why did I make such a choice? And then the journey of healing will take a different path altogether. Now, same is the case with money. If a person, for example, is born in a family which does not have a lot of materialistic resource, does it mean to say that that person has to live like that only? No. Now, that situation is teaching something about values around money, what needs to be done, what are my desires, right? Just like absent mother. Here it is absent material resources. So, like at a point we said, no, when it comes to such kind of things where the external cannot be changed much, it is the internal journey that will matter a lot. Because when the internal journey changes and the feelings and emotions change, the external reality also can change. Does it mean the mother will come alive? No. But whatever can be created in that for the feeling, that can be done. So, like Gayatri said, is it necessary that the material will change? Sometimes, maybe not. If it is there in the lifetime, maybe it will. But a person will feel complete about it, peaceful about it from here. Yeah, Gayatri?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the intention of sharing these things is, of course, in the next webinars to come. How do we make conscious choices around these? We are planning to go there. So first, when we understand that, you know what, this cannot be changed. Once that settles in, then maybe something else will open up in the webinars to come.
In fact, what changes when we start accepting the aspects which we are not here to change is we start asking for resources in the right direction. If so far I was unconscious that one of the aspects in my life cannot be altered, and I was constantly struggling to find resources to alter it. But now I learned that, oh, this is not something to be altered. Then I'll ask for the resources to live with that no? So, no situation is given to us without right kind of resources. So, if we take this example that mother was absent, does that mean that this person as a child will never find the nourishment which was supposed to come from mother? No. That means it is not supposed to come from mother, and probably it is supposed to come through the self. And the self has that ability, and to recognize that ability is why that person has chosen, that soul has chosen this kind of path. And if we start looking at it like this, at least as an adult of today, the blame game stops. And when we go into a emotionally heated moment in which we catch ourselves upset with mother, blaming our mother in our head, we can hold the space saying that this is some part in me who is blaming mother. So I have this even now. The mental concept clarity has happened for me, but emotionally some part is there, and maybe that is a younger part. And then we start connecting with ourselves, and we start finding that internal resource, and that's how we start connecting with life. That's how we start finding that nourishment through different places in life. But until the child is free from that hurt from mother, blame towards mother, the child will not look for nourishment, the source of nourishment which might have to come from within. So this awareness helps us to ask for the right kind of resources and ask it in the right place, right source of that resource. So that 1 degree shift, which is life changing, is what begins when we start looking at these aspects and start understanding which part of this aspect is to be changed, which part of this aspect is not to be changed. So we are sharing this only as a concept. Okay. And today we only want to talk about a relationship with mother, father, and because our survival is connected with them, anything related to survival. Money is one of the things. It could also be physical health, because our survival is related to very much of how my physical body is. So, what we want you to do is take these 4 aspects in your life and start asking yourself, Which aspects of these four things can you see altering for yourself? Which aspects you feel cannot be altered? How do you feel about the parts of these aspects which cannot be altered? Are you able to accept it? Or maybe you are able to accept and a part in you still feels upset or hurt. That why? So honor that. That is a part in you. That is your own younger part who's feeling that. So that is how we become more connected with our reality. And then your journey of overcoming that hurt, accepting, or getting the clarity, whether it can be altered or not, will begin. And this will bring your focus more towards yourself, and it will really create, that shift which I think we all have been all the time looking for. And I have sensed one thing: the most difficult thing to achieve is what we run after the most, right? If something is told that you can't do this, then the child wants to do that the most. So
In
I think,
fact, this exercise will take you all to places where you've been banging your head against a wall, and now you know that that might not change, or that's not meant to change. So your efforts and your energies will go in different directions, and that's where of course, the conscious choice comes. But first, let us come into awareness of what are these aspects that we have not accepted till date, or not seen them for what they are. There's a
so
quote,
this
no,
will
that
take
says,
some
"Choose
time.
your battles wisely."
Yeah.
We know what battles to choose and what changes we want to make.
So with these four aspects, I guess, please sit down and ask yourself, you know, which aspect you feel that is altering for you, which aspect is not altering for you. How do you feel about it? And then if you find, if any of these aspects you find that you have understood that this is completely something which you cannot alter, then I think the next line of thought and question will be, then whatever is the highest possible reality in this, I would like to live that. And in order to live that, what are the blocks within me which I need to look at, face? I want support for it, I want resources for it, so that I can convert those blocks, that unconscious part, in a conscious resource. And with that, I'll be able to live that reality with peace and complete acceptance. So that's it, I guess, Priya. Yeah, are we good? So let's start with the discussion.